Hey, how's it going everyone? Welcome back to London and welcome back to the series of JPEG only vlogs taking shots with the Fujifilm. I'm gonna continue this on as like a channel sort of commentary and narrative. I've got a few things to discuss today, and whilst we're doing that I'm gonna be going around taking pictures with the X-T4, and I'll just throw them in, mix in the conversation, mix in the photos. Hopefully you enjoy that. We're in Wapping, by the way. I've been wanting to come back here for about 4 or 5 years or so. I've only ever been here once, and I must admit my memory of it was in a completely different area of the map. I thought it was way more southeast than it is, but we're actually pretty central. So we're in Wapping, and I was reminded by it of an old friend of mine who messaged many months ago, and here we finally are. So far it's very pleasant, very beautiful. Anyway, we're going to explore around, and with Ellie, by the way. And we're both suffering with terrible hay fever since we got here. A lot of very nice trees, which are, of course, causing... Oh, good. Essentials. It's 7 PM, and I forgot to take one today, but because this has happened multiple times, I've remembered to put some in my bag and just leave them in my bag. Antihistamine, for those who don't know. Because hay fever, it'll get you good. Luckily my eyes are fine. It's my nose is like, it's just right there. Welcome everyone. That's a very, very bright cloud. Love it when a bird goes through at the same time. I'm shooting with a new film simulation recipe that I've created in the last week or so. I've been testing it a little bit at home, and I'm here kind of testing it out on the fly. And I think the whole film simulation recipe thing has been such a energizing factor of photography, because not only am I going to new areas and exploring, but I've got new colors to play with and new things to test out, and you kind of find yourself going back to the same location and other things. So the simulation that I'm using today, I'm unsure on what I'm going to call it, but it's got kind of cozy vibes. So I'm going to call it Cozy for now. Maybe Cozy Chrome, because it's based off of classic Chrome. So the reason I'm calling it cozy is because it's kind of got some nostalgic sort of, I don't want to say vintage, but it sort of does have some vintagey vibes and some analog feels to things, especially in the highlights and the greens and the blues. So that's kind of what I'm playing with. And of course, trees being green are suiting and fitting very well. I am still going to tweak these probably, maybe with the Fuji X-Raw app, or maybe even in Capture One or Lightroom. But for the moment, as a base for the JPEG, it's a great starting point. This color palette is looking really nice. Honestly, I think you'd love this Cozy Chrome, Ellie.
Is it very me?
I think so. It's got like the right amount of saturation, a good sort of warmth, and yeah, it's just got like a really like hearty and cozy feel to it. I like it. So one of the things that I wanted to discuss and talk with you today is the idea of community, and how community, I think, is probably one of the strongest assets to creativity. And these latest videos that I've been doing about shooting JPEG only with the Fujis, they've brought about such a community, and I've had such a positive response in the comments from you, and just the response to emails and my newsletter, Instagram stories, like just all of the responses I've got back. It's really unearthed so much conversation, and that's just great, because it just proves the point of the more you put out, the more that comes back to you. And by having these JPEGs inspire me to go out and take more photos, it's got me motivated in putting more videos out, and more has come back, and that is so valuable. But likewise, it's attracted a whole new audience of people. So if you are new around here, welcome, hello, my name is Joe. I am a photographer. Usually I'm making travel videos and sometimes do tech videos and all sorts. But generally these are the kind of vibes you can expect on the channel. And if you like what you're watching, consider subscribing, and yeah, this is what we're all about.
The BA? Take us with you!
But this view is a nice little surprise. We've obviously got the canal area pointing up towards Tower Bridge, and the Shard just poking its head out. Although it's one of those things that's mildly frustrating, where nothing's quite in the middle, and nothing's quite evenly off. So it doesn't quite line up, but I think if you manage the balance in the sense that the Shard is very heavy on the left, so you weight it more towards the right, and you can kind of get an optical balance that sort of holds it all together. I think it's possible. Again, lovely lighting, and clouds as well. That dark cloud behind is really just elevating yeah, the Shard sticking out. I've grown to really love the Shard. When it first was completed, I wasn't the biggest fan, but the longer it stays there, the more I enjoy it. I really love it now. It's like there is a giant softbox. I guess, where is the sun? Out there? No.
Nature's softbox.
Further to the chat of community, I want to remind you all of this great community that we've got down here in the comments. So when I speak with a lot of people about, forming creative connections and just talking with like-minded people, whether that's photographers, designers, artists, whatever, one of the common things that I hear back from people is, I just don't really know anyone who's into photography, or maybe they live in a small town and they're 100 miles away from the next big town and you're in a rural part of some large country somewhere, and you may struggle. Well, by watching this video, you have a community right here in the comments below. And it's been great to see that there's been a lot more open discussion recently with all sorts of different threads of comments, particularly about Fuji recipes, but also about just locations. And I've seen people giving recommendations based on areas that they've been and where they maybe want to go and things like that. So I do encourage you to get involved in the comments, and if you are a lurker, and I know there are many lurkers across all of YouTube who watch things, enjoy things, but never leave any comments or feedback, I invite you. This is a chance to leave a comment, and if you're maybe shy, you could just leave an emoji if you like, but feel free to say hey, drop a note in the comment, and I can guarantee you that by expressing something outwardly, something positive is going to come back to you in the sense of inspiration or motivation, and it's just a great asset of community, and that is exactly what I want this channel to be all about. And a perfect example of that is this whole experiment with shooting JPEG only. I was quite admittedly in a little bit of a rut, potentially, not in a very positive state of mind on a lot of things, and I tried to shoot JPEG only as a way to gamify my photography and to just I don't know, have a bit of fun and remove some friction. But the response back by putting out what came back to me allowed me to just get so much more involved with things, and it's all come full circle, and the emails and response back has just been brilliant. So thank you for joining in with that. But likewise, if you're new here or you've been watching for years, for months maybe, please do leave a comment. And to continue on this journey throughout the summer as things are opening up and whatever, I would love to take this offline and host a meetup at some point. I've done a few meetups in the past in Japan and in the Netherlands, and the people that I've met and just getting to meet you in person has been just so valuable, and I've made good friends from it. Just continuous conversations since. And just the power of this channel, and just by putting the videos out and stuff, yeah, the feedback and community that comes back, honestly, I can't stress enough the value on it. So I would love to do some in-person meetups. In the meantime though, it's still not quite ready to have in-person events with you know, multiple people and whatever. But I would like to be continuing on some of the live streams. So I've got another Art in the Heart live scheduled for this week. So it's been a bit tricky to get people on the same sort of timing, because again, as things are opening up, people are getting projects, and you know, quite rightfully so, they should be out traveling, not staying in doing live streams. But one coming up next is with Chris Broad from Abroad in Japan. So if you know his channel, he's got a brilliant channel all about Japan, and living in Japan over the last 10 years or so. We've been chatting a lot over the last couple of years. We were supposed to collaborate last year when we were supposed to go to Japan, but obviously that all got cancelled. So it'd be good to finally have a live stream with Chris, get to know some of his work, some of his camera equipment, some of his background on things. So if you want to see that live stream, the details of which will be in the description below. And I would have also created the event, so you can set the reminder, turn on the notification, and you can join us live and you can ask some questions in the chat. Of course, it will also be available as a replay afterwards, and I aim for them to be about 30 to 45 minutes. So that should be a fun one coming up this week. And I'll maybe do more live streams on the monthly basis, or when things can be available, because it's pretty tricky to get timing all good. Yeah, the green just looks good. Just keep going back and forth and spin and fluster and just coming round to, I think, Wapping High Street, or we're sort of curving round towards the river anyway. And this is the part of Wapping that I remembered from last time I came here. These big warehouses and the cobbled streets. This is kind of the vibe that I wanted. It kind of reminds me of Dumbo actually in Brooklyn. It's pretty cool. Yeah, just good, strong stone buildings. It's hat time. Need to get a haircut. Remind me when we get into book a haircut. Alright, let's go. The second beach.
We're on a beach.
In a month, in London.
There's sand. There's water. So this is a beach?
It is incredibly weird lighting right now. It's kind of like a warm softbox everywhere. It's like, it feels like a thick air. Don't you think it feels thick? Like
muggy?
No, not quite muggy, but like you can feel the thickness in the light. It's like someone's pulled like a cotton sheet over everything. Maybe it's just the warmth of the sand just reflecting up, but very interesting. And also another beach in London that, you know, there's plenty of them about, not really beaches, but you know. Been living here for 10 years or so, and only ever done this twice, both of which in the last month. Yeah, it's definitely cool to see different views of Canary Wharf as well. Oh, okay. You'll be fine. And in the Popo, made it back up onto dry land. and I just wanted to point out something that I've been testing with this vlog. So I recently bought a new filter for the R5. So this is using the Cine Bloom 10% filter from Moment. So I bought that recently, it only just arrived. It took a few weeks to ship across from the US. So yeah, I'm interested to know what it looks like. The waves have just picked up. So yeah, I'm interested to know what you think of the new filter. So the Cine Bloom effect, similar to like a Pro Mist, in the sense that what it does is it ever so slightly degrades the light that comes in. So it sort of softens things, especially if you've got harsh lighting. It just kind of rounds out the softness, and if it's, say, nighttime, you've got like fairy lights or, you know, just background lighting, it just sort of blooms it ever so slightly. It removes that sort of harsh digital look that you get to modern day cameras and adds a little bit more character and a bit more like an analog feel to it. So think of it the same as audio, where you get the best audio quality recording you can get, and then you go and throw a little bit of distortion on it. It gritties it up a little bit, and hopefully it gives a nice pleasing character to it. So here's an example of a shot without it. So this is what it looks like when you don't have the filter on, and then here's what it looks like when you put the 10% filter on. It may be a subtle difference, and we may notice it more when we do something at nighttime. So here's a shot from the future of what it looks when the filter's off, and we've got some dark areas and lighting. And then here's a shot with the filter on, and that same scene with the darkness and the lights flaring through. So I hope you've enjoyed this chat of community and exploring around Wapping. We've now arrived into St. Catherine Docks, which is another of my favourite areas in London. Just a very peaceful, very ambient area, I guess. So yeah, this has been a fun one. I'm definitely keen to explore back around Wapping. It was so calming and enjoyable. So in different weather and different Fuji recipes, I definitely think we can explore there. I'm gonna go and grab some drinks somewhere. And the funny thing about that is obviously we've been suffering hard with hay fever today. So we take antihistamines, but alcohol is full of histamines. So if you didn't know that, having alcohol, it's terrible for your hay fever. But you know what? It's just nice to have a beer, and you spend a day working, taking shots everywhere. So what can you do? Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this. Leave a comment down below if you are new here and you've never left a comment before. And likewise, hey to all your regular viewers. I always appreciate the continued support. Anyway, thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll catch you in another one real soon. See you later. Bye-bye. Does Ellie want a wine? Does Ellie want a beer? See ya.